Hey nesters, welcome back to Nesting Haven. We are heading back to Goodwill. This is part 2 to this thrift along with me. If you missed part 1, I will link it down below. I accidentally featured some inappropriate pants and I struggled to talk about pool balls, so it was good times had by all, so definitely go check it out. This here was a really cool find. It is a 1983 Norman Rockwell collector's plate. It is a Christmas plate here. I am a huge fan of Norman Rockwell items. Unfortunately, that plate only sells for about $6 to $8, so therefore it's not a good item to pick up for reselling purposes unless you can get it for next to nothing. I've never seen a cast aluminum napkin holder before, so this was an interesting find. Usually I just find them in the trivets, so I did pick that up. That was very unusual. And I saw this really neat Hawaii bar tray, and the condition of it was pretty good. There's a few issues, but it's one of those items. I got it for $5, which was a little much, but it was just such a unique item. I had to get it, right? If you're a vintage lover, could you have left that behind? I doubt it. I've mentioned this before, but I really like to check out the end caps because they tend to try to dress them up a little bit and hand select some cooler items in the store. I was really excited to find this vase. I love finding vintage glasses, and these frosted style glasses typically are Hazel Atlas. This is a smaller juice glass and unfortunately is not worth very much, so I put it back. And, had there been a full set, I probably would have grabbed it, or at least a second one to sell with it. But by itself, it probably would have sold for $4, so though it was cool, it definitely wasn't worth picking up for resale. I so wanted to get this wooden trivet, but there were a few notches of wood missing on the detailed part of it, and it just didn't look right to resell, but it was super fun. I wish that was in better condition. This here was kind of a neat set. It was a toothbrush holder, and then they had a little cup there that I guess you could use for Q-tips or cotton balls, and then they had a tissue holder as well. There were a few issues on some of the florals, so I did not get the 2 porcelain pieces, but I do believe I picked up the tissue box. You'll have to let me know in the comments below if you knew what this was before I told you. What you do is take a garlic clove and you can just run it across these little rivets in it, and it will shave it down very nicely for you to make almost a garlic paste, and it makes it very easy. Me and my husband picked up one of these at I think it was the Lobster Festival actually. They had some vendors there about 8 or 10 years ago, and I was surprised to see one. This was something I had been wanting. I was super excited to come across this. Is a nice little stretched vase here, and it is an amberina. I initially thought it was just a clear glass, but you can see there's a little bit of yellow to the tip there, so it was really cool. I also really like this wooden bowl here. If you can find any kind of wooden item similar to this in good shape, you can see this one has some issues to it, but if they don't have too much wear to them, you can sell these between $25 to up to $55. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It really goes well with boho decor, which is on the rise right now, and it pairs very nicely with vintage items as well. This here is a beautiful pottery piece. I love that it is redware. Redware is definitely seems to be a better quality pottery to me. I really enjoy it. But as I was getting ready to put it in my cart, I noticed this giant crack and chip on the top rim there. I was so disappointed. It was such a cool piece. This little tray on the bottom was super cute with the calla lily on it. It was priced $2. I probably could have got a little bit out of it, but it was a newer piece and I was trying to be a little bit picky and stick with vintage today. This was really neat. This is a handmade piece from Sweden, and they had $3 priced on it. It looks like a little bride and groom, and it has the Sweden colors on it, like the Sweden flag, so I thought that was a really neat piece. I'm really into anything handmade like that, and people that like vintage Christmas tend to get items like that as well, so those are usually good to pick up. This was a really neat piece. It's like a little puzzle picture. I really liked it. It was only priced $2 and I wanted to get it, but there was lots of wear to the wood, and you guys will have to let me know if that's something that would deter you from buying something for a decent price. I feel like there's not a super easy fix for fixing that wooden wear to it. I know most people understand it's vintage and there's going to be some wear to it, so maybe I should have took a chance on it. For some reason, with the wooden items, especially if it's on the front surface, I tend to hesitate. If it's on the back side, no big deal, but where it is right on the front, where they would display it on the wall, I tend to just go away from that. This picture on the bottom shelf caught my attention. I was hoping there was going to be another animal, but they were matching, and they were a more modern item, but I just kind of like the artwork. This is a cutting board of Montana. I love that it had the little duck on it. I set this in my cart for a little bit, and I ended up putting it back because it wasn't in perfect condition. It had a new tag on it, but there was some cuts and scratches in it upon further inspection. I have one of my state, so I was really excited to see that. I found another one here in a little bit. I think it was of New Hampshire, and the same thing with that. I had to set it back down because it wasn't in perfect condition. Maybe I need to stop being so picky about the wooden items and just go ahead and give them a try. I seem to be finding a lot of amazing wooden pieces today, and this was the best by far. This is a beautiful mid-century German piece, and one of the candlestick holders was off, but they had it underneath the tape there, and I've gone ahead and re-glued that. Obviously, I picked this up. How could you leave that behind? It was all hand-carved and absolutely stunning. I had set it back down and I was checking out that little wooden piece beside it because it had just that simple metal rod coming out the top, and it looked like it was missing something that you could set over the top of it. I checked it out. I tried to fit it on there. It didn't fit. So I don't know if something originally came on it or if it's just meant to be the metal pole, but yeah, I did put it in my cart. This was kind of cute, but I was trying to figure out what Mama's secret weapon could have been. It was completely hollow in the bottom. I didn't understand it, so I didn't get it, but if you guys happen to know what that is, definitely let me know in the comments. So I made it back over to the dishware section, and up on the top shelf, I found several pieces of Corelle. This is in the Apricot Grove design, and unfortunately, these are very plentiful on eBay. There are several listed, and sometimes you just have to make that decision. Yeah, you can make maybe $2 or $3 off each plate, and with as many plates there, you could have potentially made $20 or $30, but when there's so many listed, how long do you really want to sit on it, and what's going to make someone choose your plates over any of the others that have been listed? So when there's just too many, sometimes you just gotta walk away. I saw these beautiful blue bowls underneath that other plate there. I guess they're kind of a lifted edge plate. And I took them out to check them out to see if they were depression glass. I feel like depression glass, the blue color, is a little bit different than that. I think that is a more modern piece, but they are still very pretty, and you don't come across the blue glass like that too often. These here were put up by Shafford. They are the Ecstasy Butterfly design. Cute little ramekins, a set of 3, but unfortunately that particular design just doesn't sell for very much. It's not very desired. That's why you really need a lot of time and patience looking through dinnerware, because it's just amazing what different designs and patterns are more sought after than others and how much some could really go for. You really have to have the time and patience for reselling those types of items. I was excited to see the salt and pepper shaker, of course, the Bluebell Goose. I have a napkin holder that goes with this. The bottoms looked a little janky on it to me, and it didn't seem like the best condition. I ended up leaving it behind. Every time I'm editing these videos, it's always funny to me, the things that I'm like, hey, I would pick that up if I was shopping today. And it's like that when you're thrifting, right? Some days you just aren't in the mood for certain things, and that's the fun of it. You can always go back and hope that it's still there, or you can, find new things and experiment. But yeah, you never know what you're going to find, and you never know what mood you're going to be in, right? These are really nice. These are some Bramble mugs. I think they are very good quality. I love when the coffee mugs have a pedestal to them. I just think it has a really neat look. And there was a set of 2 there. I did put those in my cart. I didn't take the plate because it was just 1 plate. It's kind of a hard sell. I did just barely spy this Bluebell Goose pictured back here, and oh wow, there's a big chip on the bottom. So I was 0 for 2 on saving the Bluebell Goose today. So unfortunate. It was kind of fun that I was seeing so many pieces at the store though. They try to make this little Valentine's Day display, I guess. I really liked the looks of this sugar and creamer set. I've never come across that before. It did have a gold rim around it. They probably were older than I initially thought, and now I'm looking at them, but I left them behind just because I keep picking up so many sugar and creamers, and I feel like sugar and creamers don't really sell super well, but when they're unusual, I do tend to still pick them up, but I don't know. I guess I didn't feel like it that day. They had several pieces of this Premier Fine China. They had a $40 price tag on it for the full set. Sometimes I'm happy when they sell them as a full set, and other times I just wish I could, pick them off if I wanted just a few to try, like 4 plates or something. And that was a beautiful set. I just did not feel like spending $40 on it. And as you can see here, they marked those individually at $1 a plate. So I don't know why they do it one way on one set and the other way on a different set. It's kind of interesting. They had this beautiful green bubble glass here. They had a $5 price tag on it. I felt that was a little high for what it was. They did have a little owl figurine here. I haven't been picking up owl stuff too much lately, but it was kind of a cute one, I guess. I'm trying to do a little bit better about those types of figurines because they do tend to sit a while. They do sell to the right buyer, but they don't go for a whole lot either. They had $2 priced on this really neat napkin holder here with the lighthouse and the crashing waves. I thought this was the neatest piece. It definitely looked vintage, mid-century, and lighthouse stuff being that old, I don't come across often, so that was definitely unusual to see. I saw this beautiful platter sitting down here that caught my attention. Of course, the handle had a big chip in it. When I flipped it over, I saw that it was Homer Laughlin. We can take a look here at the label for a second. You can see on the center there's a little H and then a big L and a C, so that'd be Homer Laughlin China. The other thing I want to mention is if you look just above where it says Homer Laughlin, there is the word coronet. And that is not the name of the pattern on the plate, it's actually the shape of the plate. You can see the very specific style, and that came out in 1935, and people started copying that same style after the fact, but that was an original Homer Laughlin design. People are really starting to appreciate Lusterware once again. I've always found it beautiful. I don't really collect it myself, but I always do check it out whenever I see it. They had a lot of pieces of this set here, and of course they had a pretty hefty price tag on most of them. I ended up picking up a couple pieces here to try. I couldn't really justify picking it all up for, just considering how much they would go for. When you buy a whole lot, you can get a decent price for it, but the cost of goods would have kind of outweighed what I would have made. So one thing to note about Lusterware, it's never in perfect condition. In my experience, they will often have little bubbles in it in the original pottery, and the paint, it is hand painted, so it's not always in the best condition. The main thing you want to look for is just to make sure it has that shininess to it. You really want it to have the luster in the Lusterware, right? So again, I found another set on the top shelf here. So yeah, there was lots of Lusterware pieces today. It was very interesting to see so much. Like I've mentioned a few times recently, I've been really getting into the clear glassware, and I saw these really neat geometric shaped candlesticks here. There was a set of 2, and they only had a dollar sticker on one of them, so I did pick them up. I think they only charged me $1 for this set. You can see I didn't take the sticker off. They only had 1 sticker on it, so usually what they do is go ahead and write on one of the stickers set, and then they don't price the other one, but that didn't have any writing, so I don't know what happened there. If you are new to my channel, go ahead and take advantage of that subscribe button down below. Go ahead and click it. That way you are able to catch the thrift haul of everything I picked up at this Goodwill today, as well as see all my other Thrift Along With Me videos that will be coming up in the future. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Thrift Along With Me. Let me know below what items you saw that were your favorite. I hope you enjoyed, and we will catch you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.